Hello, hello, hello. We are using microphones because we are recording this conversation. So it's not because we're too quiet. Yeah. Hello, hello. And I think you can hear me also, right?
Yes.
Bye. Ha ha ha. All right, let's get this conversation started. To be honest, I'm a bit puzzled how the hell we're gonna squeeze it in the 40 minutes. Because we met briefly yesterday here to discuss about what should we talk. And 45 minutes later, we realized that we've been just throwing out keywords about what this conversation could take place. My name is Daude, and I don't have anything to do with this project. And you are... Maybe you can introduce yourself.
I'm Célia Bétourné. I come from a video game at the origin, and I make a turn to be digital artist now. I come from more visual background, but I do was a real-time interactive installation lead, so programming too, and design, to interaction design and user experience, this kind of thing.
And my name is Max Levy. I'm a choreographer based in Germany. I come originally from not video games, in my spare time video games. I come from ballet education originally, and I've been dancing in theaters and companies, and in the last years I've been a freelance choreographer based in Frankfurt.
Yeah, I also have a background in programming and in dance. So I think the dance can be one of topics for our today's conversation. So maybe next you can briefly, I don't know how the hell it is possible to do it briefly, but to introduce this project, what we are seeing today here on this other room, not here.
Okay, I'm being pushed a bit.
Yeah,
okay. So this installation today is called Temporal Spaces. It was a project chosen by the MODINA residency network, which STL is a member of. And we're all projects that have to do with choreography and with programming. And this project, the purpose of it was to try and connect movement directly to the actual feeling of moving. Not watching yourself move in real time, but if I move like this is what it feels like, this is what it sounds like. But then also being able to be the viewer as well as the dancer, as well as the choreographer, to try and squeeze all the roles of dance making and dance viewing and into one person, every person. I think that covers it briefly.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, let's go on from there. And maybe do we allow ourselves just a little nerd moment, and maybe you guys can describe a bit in human language, what is going on there, technically speaking.
Okay, what's going on? I will try to be clear. It's when you enter in the space, maybe I think mostly of you understand well the system. You enter, and when you move, you'll be recorded by the system, and you stop moving, and you can see you as just a few moments ago. And after you see another recording, and it's another person that passed by this the same space, maybe at another moment, and you see this person because it's the AI system make make you match with this person because of the combination of your movements, the rhythm of your movements, and yes, that's it. So it's occasion for you to meet another people that been recorded on your data bank. Yes, no. So each time you be recorded, you be added in this data bank too. So it's the very beginning of this bank, but you take part of it when you enter in the space.
But that's not all what happens there. Again, maybe Max, maybe you can also wrap up like what happens like sound-wise and what happens also light-wise. Sure. What is going on?
Yeah, so we do have a third member of our team, Louis, sitting there, chilling. Didn't want to be part of the interview. But basically, we each have specific roles of building a kind of technical system. The first part of it is capturing your movement. There's 3 webcams that pick up your movement and turn them into coordinate data. This coordinate data is sent to me with a bunch of calculations that turns the coordinates into speed and finds certain parameters that I send back to both of them. That controls the lights. So the speed at which you're moving and the position in the space is being taken into account for where the lights will work, which was Louis' work. The sound is also the speed of certain body parts, the location of where your body parts are, how many people are in the space. These also change parameters on what kind of sound feedback happens. If you're moving one part but not the other, it should technically produce different sounds. And then the recording section that Célia talked about happens, where if you're moving, you're recorded, and when you're not moving, the recording stops and it plays back and recalls you with previous participants and previous moments of this installation.
Sorry, but what happens with the bank later?
The bank just sits there. We started this current one 2 days ago. Yeah. So we have about 150, 180 recordings, snippets, we call them. And basically, as this piece goes onwards, then different people from different locations will match with previous participants that maybe did it in Tallinn or maybe in Germany somewhere or maybe here or there, so that it's kind of like recalling different memories and different people that experienced this.
Yeah, we will come back to that to when we talk about the future of the project. I'm trying to somehow, still think with how well we want to squeeze it all in. Okay, this is like a nerd moment. I think we're done with a nerd moment, and then we can maybe jump into the position where we can discuss a bit like what does it mean for you as authors that people meet with somebody from history or like somewhere from time behind. Like, what does it mean for you? Like, what is interest for you?
I think we have 2 different answers.
I think so too.
To this question. I'm more interested by the technician aspect of this meeting. So more than poetry of the moment. Poetical of the moment. This moment is very a curiosity for me to discover. When I'm just looking you guys interacting with the system, I was okay. It's interesting to try to understand well why exactly the system creates this match, and yeah, I think it's very kind of experimental project, and it's I live this experience as creator, but as viewer too, when I discover how the system will find the pair, etc. I think it's very this that's interested me in particular.
Sure. For me, I think I come from. I mean, I've worked with Louis and Célia multiple times on different technical projects that involve dance, and I'm always the one that's trying to kind of push forward or highlight some sort of poetic context or humanistic context. I'm not sure what the right term would be. But for me, I think what was important as we started to design this project and start to the system of recording, playing back, it started to come forward. I'm sure it's a topic we'll get to later, but how well we remember things and how well we don't remember things about ourselves or about events that happened in our lives. And we maybe fixate on things that mattered a lot and forget other things, or fixate on things that held a lot of grievance, so we forget the good things too. So for me, it's a kind of this, what is being remembered and noticed and what's not, because also the AI system is not always accurate about what you put in and what you get out. And I'm sure as you saw, if you interacted and you wondered which part of it is going to be in focus and remembered, or if you're multiple people, who is it going to look at? These are kind of topics that are why it matters for me to work on this kind of thing.
Very interesting. I'm fascinated, and also I love the installation. I think it works very well. I saw also like the previous version and like in the showing, and then it didn't work so well. But I was so surprised today. Actually, I was like amazed how like professional it looks. If I think of the duration of his residency, like it's amazing work what you did. And also, I think that the meeting between two people and the AI mediating the meeting of two people, and the accuracy of data mapping, and or inaccuracy of data mapping, and somehow to build this, I don't know, this fucked up Tinder system that you will meet somebody based on something what you are not even aware of, like why. And I find it so charming. It's so beautiful. And I also find that found today that there is because it's kind of beginning of a performance or beginning of a project, as I understand, we will talk about it later. But there is, if you pay attention with who the match is made, the installation wasn't open then. It's like 11:30 at night, like somebody was dancing there, and so as if it's some alternative reality, that there is somebody else using it for I don't know what, for what's using it, and that there is a kind of the meeting is happening, and I find it's like so charming. I just started to talk also myself, otherwise it will become like interview, and like you are welcome, more than welcome to interrupt and stop my thoughts and everybody. But if somebody wants to have a question, then I will repeat it with microphone just for a recording. Okay, then maybe we talk about this accuracy and inaccuracy of data mapping. You explained how this software works, that it analyzes webcam and generates some like vectors of movement, something like this. And those vectors are compared with movement vectors from the database, right? And this is the point when you two meet. If we fantasize a bit, like what this meeting can become about, what are the other parameters, why people can meet, and what can happen next.
Yeah, but it is very interesting, in fact, because as you just said, the system work with a parameter that's be registered, but at the end, it compare two textures that synthesize all the coordinates, the vectors, the thing we wanted to be registered in this texture, and it tried to find the common pattern. So we just, in reality, we just put some information, speed, some part of the body, and yeah, for sure we can plan with system to add lot of new parameter. It's funny because the only thing we try to just be like a constraints, we wanted something very fast and not too much computation extra. So the information for each recording is just a texture 64 pixel and 64 pixel. So it's very, very little, and I think we use some different, all the data we can use on this very little thing. If we have more big texture, we can use very more parameter. It's exponential, in fact, because in 64 by 64, we can use still a lot of information.
But still, my question remains the same. Let's say the matchmaking is perfect, like it's like identical. Like still, like what I'm more like fantasizing what this meeting will be about. Kind of to come out from this like data mapping.
Well, we definitely can't provide people's like phone numbers and addresses on the bottom.
Yeah.
I mean, I think this is a topic that came up yesterday too when we were chatting. Is that being identical is not always a compatibility in terms of human relationships and people, and it's only the comparison of two textures and how fast you are moving that is precise or not precise, and that's not necessarily analogous to human interpersonal relationships. And I think for me it would be interesting to find different parameters of matching. So I this is totally theorizing, not coming from a technical concept, but the fact that you could have two colors that are very similar and they match. You could have two colors that are opposites and they're complementary. You could have different analogous color combinations that provide different compositions of color. Maybe this is one way because we use color in these textures. So maybe this is one way that you could be mapped actually based on other parameters, not necessarily you are exactly like this other person and this other movement.
Yeah. I'm just thinking of.
Is that the correct answer?
No, I don't know. I don't know why it's like I keep on doing that. Sorry,
no,
guys.
but actually, when you asked me this, I also thought this is another part of the installation that's a little bit more meta, and it's just to build a bit of context. Is that when you're listening to the playback, the sounds are. When you see your own recording, it's your sound that you made played back through an AI sound generator. So it takes in sound signals and tries to reproduce specific textures that it's been taught, like a wood chipper or birds or the water. And it tries to reproduce that music with only those sounds. So we have a kind of combination of this, which is reproducing the sound that you've made. But we also have it overlaid with real answers from real interviews of people about life and memories and past things and future thoughts. For me, it was kind of important to try to have this really crafted thing that it still has this human touch, that we asked questions, we got answers, we cut them, we put them next to each other. And for me, maybe making this a larger part of the installation in the future would be one thing, because we were thinking of already in involving it in this one where you would also be able to input answers or questions back, but the system was not working the way we wanted it to, and there were other priorities. But it was something that is on my mind, that maybe this is something that can match in the future. Maybe also vocal recognition, about how one completes the sentences of words you put in with other answers from other people.
Yeah, definitely. That would be another layer. And but also today, I think it is very rich already, like artistically and poetically, and like so much things are happening. And if you see as it works in a way that you go in and do some movements, which I don't want to use the word artistically questionable. I would rather say like, okay, which will be like a casual. Right. And but we saw also today how the old space transforms if the person who's in there has like strong artistic presence as a performer, as a mover. And then you see that it becomes a dialogue between the screen, between the space, between the sound. So it is also, on one hand, it's like installation for matchmaking, but I would argue that it's also, it could be a performance tool, you know.
Absolutely.
Because now we watched it 1.5 hours, like before, and it can be considered as a performance already, if you keep everything like it is. So I was thinking that maybe you, like, if we fantasize, like in future, like what is the, you said something about like installation, but what use cases this instrumental tool could have in your point of view?
But yes, it's really a big dimension of the project. Finally, we represent this project on an installation tonight, but we are sure that there is a potential on the interactive tool with the movement that triggers sound, with the light direction, and yeah, I think we really want to push this part too, and maybe.
Yeah. Hey, oh, I'm very loud. Yeah, I think. I mean, I don't usually work in installation. I usually work in concert dance on stage. So it was already on my mind how the tools that we ended up making for this are very modular, and that I could just work with the movement and sound, or work with the movement and lights, or just work with movement that records me and then turns off when I'm not. You know, and I think it's quite, the compartmentalized in its system that you could apply them and then further that maybe, or just use it for a larger project in another context. Yeah.
Okay, let's, I leave you alone with this meeting and Tinder thing. You said something that there is a software and web cameras are used to capture the data, and the movement vectors are generated out of them. It is old school. It is proto-Kinect type of technical solution, which it goes back to 2006 and 2007 when this technology was used. So maybe we talk a bit about like low tech and using like a technology and software frameworks for laptops to do it. Like what is the low-fi or low-tech like philosophy has to do with your project?
Yeah, but it's funny because you speak about Kinect. I think it's the first time in our latest project we didn't use Kinect.
Yeah.
And finally, okay, yeah, Kinect is low tech and very useful, but with this simple webcam and with very low performance AI system, it's more powerful in fact than Kinect. So we just two webcam, one in this side and one in another. We can just create a very simplest detection motion tracking body, and it's another part of this big part of the research on this project is to create a very low cost and low tech solution to create a space, a large space, because webcam have a large field of view, a large space with just two webcam for tracking movement.
Yeah, I mean, part of the proposal for this was that it would be accessible after we were done with it. I think in terms of hardware, we of course have laptops, but none of us have crazy expensive laptops. They were maybe cool 7 years ago laptops. And then a bunch of like very standard Logitech webcams. They are rewired in some way to function better for infrared detection, but this is also kind of DIY.
We just put off the infrared filter on the webcam, so that's why we can see in the dark.
They use infrared lamps also in the space. That's how they detect movement, and that's how they get rid of feedback. Otherwise, if they would just use a camera, it would capture the movement plus projection, and then it would run. Would be feedback.
Yes.
That's why infrared.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah, but then also all the software we use, with the exception of one, which has a substitute also that's free, is all open source or has very entry level access to it.
Just free, yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, it depends on your technical knowledge, of course, but technically anyone can use what we are making and apply it on their own or adjust it also. So,
Yeah, but we want to maybe, as you said, the modular aspect of this project is very important. At the end, one of our goals is to just get the free access of this different modules that creates this installation for people, and it's really something it's important for us to do at the end.
Yeah, we technically also internally use stuff that other people have developed also, like the AI models for the sound processing are not something we wrote. They are a result of research project from a sound designer, and he allows people to just use them for free. So it has to do with, kind of continuing this loop of, okay, what did you develop with what you got?
Sorry, I have a question. And the problem with the AI now is delay. But do you have done it with the live performance? Do you have any delay with the AI or electronics? How you done with that?
Yeah, repeat the question.
There is a question concerning the delay with using AI and how you address this question in your project.
No, we have no delay.
We don't have delay because also the tools we're using within AI are they've learned off of a bank of models. For example, with the sound things, you teach it over 3 hours of sound, was it? Or 30 hours of sound over 3 days of a particular thing you want it to learn. Let's say you want to make all the sounds a chair could make, and you have to teach it this, and it learns, and then afterwards it will reproduce these without the lag, so to speak, because it's learned off of this model, which is a bit different than generating of previous learning methods from AI. But that's a totally different topic that I'm not very an expert in, but this is my understanding of it.
Yeah, it's not large language model that they're using, but specific, it's a project called Rave from IRCAM. That's this AI model.
Yes, that's it. And it's we use a pre-trained model, so it's very instant, and that's a big and very interesting project we give free to people.
I also wanted to throw in the idea that concerning low tech and reuse of existing technology, existing patches, existing, I don't know what not, that I personally have a feeling that the technology, I don't know, it sounds so weird and I spell it out, but the technology develops so fast currently that it doesn't have time to exhaust itself. So it's we can try new version and then once, and then there is already a new version, and we just keep on grinding further through those versions without seeing what can actually be done with it. Yesterday I told you that I'm also making music sometimes, and I recorded my last album. I use the one Max MSP patch what I got for free from one guy in 2005, and I still use it, and it's total ridiculous thing, and I still hasn't exhausted for myself. It's still fun, and I send him sometimes my recordings and tell him, okay, I used your software, and he's going, why? Nobody uses it anymore, but I still do because I find it fun. So I was thinking that that's why I present it as video capture techniques from 2000s, but still I find very charming that you still use it and you make use of it, and the people without access to expensive mock-up system can actually repeat it. And okay, there are, I don't know, that Move One, or I don't know, the iPhone applications for motion, blah blah blah. But there is something charming, and if we now jump back from lo-fi, from this meeting and the choreographic representation of body plus technology, then I have the question that I scroll it further. Then I have, I don't have a question, I have just like vague cloud of ideas. How choreography, how moving body, choreography is not even important, how moving body plus technology is related for you? Like, what possibly technology can offer to moving body?
That's a dangerous question.
Yeah.
Let's. Do you mind if I go?
Oh,
Okay.
yeah, we can do.
I think for me, I've been living in Germany for 12 years, and living in Germany during COVID was a very blessed period because we got a lot of cultural funding as a relief for a lot of canceled events and just the situation of society. And I was lucky enough to be in a country where we got a lot of funding to make alternative projects and formats. And of course, embracing technological alternatives to analog ones was a big one that the dance community embraced very quickly. And I have made and been part of and been involved in different roles with different kinds of projects with that. And I found that there was kind of this obsession with the technology rather than with what I want to use the technology for, which I find a bit missing the point. And it has led to being quite overwatching checklist works where the artistic work simply just didn't seem to exist because it was kind of this checklist of like, did we use the mocap, did we use the streaming, did we use the this, that, and the other? And it kind of makes me wonder, like, yeah, but why are we doing this? So coming into this, it was kind of like I had very clear in my head that like I don't really care how high-tech the technology is. That says nothing about whether it's worth spending time on making or watching or participating in. So whatever we need, we use, but we don't need it. We don't need to use it. And I mean, I think we even had that philosophy to the end of today with some stuff about the space and how we want to set it up. And that has nothing to do with technology. Just the thought of, does this piece need that idea that you had at the beginning anymore? And if that answer is no, then don't use it. And as an addition to this question of movement and technology, I think that there's kind of an obsession with accuracy. Am I moving as accurately as possible based on this or that? Or is this movement correct based on some sort of visual input or output? And I think that that's super misleading and not really carrying the essence of dance. Despite working in this technological stuff for many years with them now, I still find that whenever I work with dancers, I don't care about the tech that is involved in the project. We always make the dance irrelevant to, not related to whether the tech is functioning. I try to make the tech connect to the dance that we end up making. So it's always kind of, the tech is a slave to the artwork that's made before it. And I want to keep that philosophy. This is from my position.
Cool.
No, but on my side, it's funny because I was just realizing that from the beginning of my career in new media art, I think I use less and less high technology in reality. And I started with very big tracking system. It was before the virtual reality. And it was very a mess with like a captor like this, sensor like this, and 3D glasses, and it costs 4,000 for what?
Oh,
No, it's very big space, and there is just 3 or 4 in France, and I was, it's amazing. And at the end, finally, I use maybe just 8 8 years after I use webcam, and I think it's really I'm not okay. The newest is the best, and I think it's important to be maybe more close to the technology you use. That be slave of the last with technology, and it can be very a lot of constraint to use too much technology you didn't need absolutely.
Yeah, that's true. I opened Pandora's box. I'm now realizing that it's a huge topic. It's one hand, if I'm really here, I got a mic. I mean, I want to say what I think of it. But I'm thinking that somehow the technology today is so precise. It can measure our body so precisely, but we have no idea what does it mean.
What do you do with it?
Yeah, what to do with it. And I think there is like unexplored huge field in front of us, like where we as an artist can actually maybe throw out some stupid context and test it to see what does it do. And maybe later, I don't know, science community, interaction design community can learn from it, or maybe it can tell somewhere in the future, can tell something about who we are, about human thing, yada yada. Yeah, maybe art can be somehow using technology in the front end of this development. This is my dream, has been 20 years. Haven't seen it, but I still hope that it will happen one day. And but I was thinking that if we maybe let's talk more about the future of this project. I saw, just I'm throwing out an idea, but I saw today several very beautiful, let's say, performative moments. When I see that, okay, I watch it as a performance and I watch it as a dialogue between person, obviously trained body, and somebody who danced in the middle of the night yesterday. And there is a connection, and I think that's maybe this is a meeting point. You know, maybe that's what we need. There is like no need for Tinder or phone number. Maybe that's a moment where we meet. And but what do you? Yeah, what are the? You briefly mentioned, but I still want to dig in. Like, what is the next steps? What are the next steps? What you are going on, like a practical next steps with this project? Like, where are you going to lead it?
It's very hard to think at this moment because
take a week off.
Yeah, I think we need to maybe have 1-2 days just to be maybe further than the projects to realize, because we were very like an iterative way of working on the project. So we just focus on the prototype. We test the prototype, and what's the next step? What can be nice to add? And so in my mind, it's still we have this prototype, and we didn't already ask what is the next step for the next prototype.
I think my thoughts about next steps are more about like making this what it is right now, not expanding it, but a little bit better in terms of, if I had taken that data of this person coming into this instrument, then maybe it would make sound like that. I didn't have time for that. And we have the stable build rule now at this point. Back up the version that's currently working. If you want to work on it, work on another file. And then when the performance happens, don't use the new file because it's going to crash. Use the one that's stable.
Okay, but do you have some like pre-agreed showings?
Yes, in this, yes. Being part of the MODINA network through STL, we have 4 other like production houses through different European countries that we are connected to. And in the fall, we will take this installation to at least 3 of the other places. So with very short build-up times, which is not going to be a problem at all.
No, how would it be? Okay, maybe we open up a bit. Do you have a questions to our authors? Yeah.
I would rather talk to the microphone so that you don't have to rephrase it.
Yeah. Come on stage.
Thank you for the talk. Well, actually, I have to talk loud so that. I know that Max was giving movement class. I don't know how it's called. Like, I wonder if that's something you also got inspiration about how people move in the space, or it's actually nothing to do with the installation, or is it a way for you to connect with bodies in a way during the production?
Good question. You can ask some people here today that came to the class as well what they think. I taught them without any intention of connecting it to the installation. I taught it then because I am a resident here and I'm being hosted and I'm a guest, and I wanted to provide things to people that live here that I would want if I was somewhere. I taught movement classes based on my own background in dance and not necessarily teaching philosophy related to this project. I'm sure there's overlap subconsciously about how I describe things and how I describe sensations, and I'm sure maybe there's associations with how I produce them in this installation. But it was not like a study of people to see what kind of movements people make. And it was actually, during making this, it was a constant reminder to think of all the people that would come that are not trained professional dancers, because that's, of course, I can go in and find the complexity and detail of moving like a dancer in there, but it has to be not for dancers. Dancers are a subset of people.
Anybody else? Question?
I'm interested in the matching of the footage that is recorded in the moment and from 2 days or from the last night. Is it artistic choice or is it just a system stability? Thank you.
It is a question about how the choice was made with concerning matching.
To be honest, it's hard to separate the artistic choice because we try to do something consciously, for sure, to make something pertinent, but we were too much thinking with the technical aspect too, that it's hard not to separate the thing. I think the result, it's almost that I have in my mind at the beginning. So yeah, the result is really okay. Yes, you can find a match easily. You understand that's why it's matched, and sometimes yes, it's more strange, but I think it's not a problem too. And maybe yeah, we can rework on this aspect and maybe find more accurate parameter, etc. But I think it's not the point. So, and for sure there is something that will be moving because of the data bank. Each time it increases, each time it will be more accurate because most data we have, most similar aspect we can find on the data bank. So no, it's really like we have created something and we just observing what it will be evolving and what it will evolving.
Did that answer your question? The method is systematic. There's textures that get compared. So we don't make any artistic choice, but the visual representations of how they're changed afterwards are all Celia's work.
I was just wondering like that it didn't match with like 3 persons ago footage, but like from
last night.
Yeah, so basically if you just moved, you can be compared with the person before you all the way to the beginning, and any of those people and the textures that they have, their kind of ID card, can be compared to the one that you just generated, and whichever is the most compatible is then played back as a ghost.
This is an interesting point again, that you somehow, I totally understand the question, because it becomes an artistic choice. Like even though it's made by software, it becomes an artistic choice because of thanks for context. You know, but like in a context, you see it becomes, and it's sometime it is maybe voluntarily, if you would be as an artist to compare, then you could make, you know, the choice what would make, let's say, more sense artistically, composition wise, but in other hand, the randomness and somehow, I don't know, funky software like gives you a surprise, and you weren't aware that actually those two choreographic motives actually could, you know, match, or like they could become as a composition.
But what if there is no match?
So there will always be a match, whichever the highest score is. And this is what Celia meant by the more we do it, the more accurate it gets. Because if you only have 10 samples, it will choose the highest accurate sample, even if you consider it not very parallel. So the more content there is in the folder, then the more data it can look at and give you the highest compatible one. So there will always be a match, but maybe that is also a good, interesting thing to point out. What if the score is too low? Then there's no match. You're alone forever.
Yeah, it is a good point because now you say we call it a match, but the percentage is 0.001 only, so it's totally different. But for software, it is match at the moment, even though it's not.
On the screen, you'll see at the top right, whenever there's a dark footage, which is the ghost, you will see the ID number and the compatible match percent out of 1. There's like a decimal, which tells you the kind of score that you had in being chosen for that matchmaking.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you. I have a question about the work, how it is, and in this complex project is always interesting how you divide this project up, how you separate your roles inside of it, and how you feel yourself inside of I don't know, creativity moment or hard moment or something like this.
Yeah. It's funny because in this project especially, it's really separated the task. And to schematize the thing, each laptop have a specific task because of need to divide the performance. So there is one for the AI model that's running just the AI model for the sound, that input the sound and output the AI version. But it's the end of the chain because the beginning of the chain. One laptop just has the tracking system and is sent to another laptop.
My laptop calculates this at a speed and then produces the live sound, the instruments.
And after it's come on my laptop that I synchronize the message on my laptop to really create it's just one laptop because we communicate in OSC, and it's funny because it's just this way of working creates our different create our own task on the project because we were naturally catch the aspect one aspect of the project each part.
Yeah, I mean, I come with the least programming experience out of our team, very little. But so I focused on the musical element, which is what I'm more adept at. And so when we arrived, we kind of just said, okay, what is the first leg of this project that needs to be built is to build movement, send this data, and for others to receive it. And so we just worked on that for the first week. And in that part, I think I did contribute programming-wise in this language protocol between computers called OSC, which you can send numbers, data between computers in live time, and you can get this data from this person and use it live in your computer. I basically made this OSC bridge that will turn the movement into speeds and then send them out between people so we could communicate with each other. But then after that, it was kind of Célia very clearly wanted to work on the visual representation and the recording and playback system. I wanted to work on the music, and Louis wanted to work on the lights and the kind of the really under the hood, the AI that's getting the original data. So it was quite clear that we each just had responsibilities that we would focus on, and yeah.
I love the sentence that you need OSC bridge to communicate with each other, like between people, and I think it's actually that's what I also do. Like I find it totally logical. Maybe this is our also a wrap. As how we need OSC to communicate between people. Thank you very much for your time, and thank you very much for the installation what runs here in STL today, 22nd of February 24.
Till 22 o'clock.
Yeah, till 22 o'clock.
We did finish this interview, but we're happy to answer questions or talk after it.
Yeah, I think we can have a conversation, but let's finish our recording.
Just let me go to the bathroom first.
Also, can we make an announcement about the questionnaire?
Yeah.
I'm not doing this.
Yes. I will do it for you if it helps. So MODINA is organized by the University of Tallinn. They are involved in doing research on choreography, movement, tech, all these overlapping, interlacing parts. And in lieu of upcoming research, in preparation for, I think lieu is after, in preparation for upcoming research paper about particular projects from this network, there is a short feedback form, which is quite just quantitative. You don't need to talk about your memories or something like this. It's just a couple numbers and some questions about your movement experience that if you have time, it just takes maybe a minute to fill out. You can speak to William and he will help you out.
Thank you. As a short form, 1-2 minutes maximum. If you would like to give further feedback, I am also doing the small number of interviews. That also really helps out with research. That helps we all move forward with the project. So if you're interested to be involved there, you can approach me and I'd be happy to talk to you. Thank you.
We'd appreciate it. Cool.
Thank you.
Thank you, Talfa.
That was fun.
That's good.
Yeah.
Very much.